Hey, this never really quite sure when you're up and running. All right. So, hi everybody. You're tuned in to second session of Escape from Ros-Rasca prison. This is session 2, part 1. We have divided the group for multiple reasons. And last session, the prison break happened. Everybody got out of their cells and basically carnage ensued. Massive battle, and then the group kind of got together. It was a pre-planned thing to help get out Kersk, who is kind of at the center point of all this. The whole plan is to get him out. The last thing that we saw was the party going up against one of the captains of the prison, who they now know are some of the stronger people that are in this prison. They went against somebody known as the Crimson Ape, and out of nowhere, Fizz comes flying in like a rocket and kicks him down a hole. And otherwise, it would have been bad. So we're going to go ahead. That's the last thing that happened. We're going to go ahead and jump right into it. If both of you could roll me Constitution checks, not saving throws, just straight Constitution check.
Six.
All right. So Kersk, you're the first one to wake up. Your head's killing you. You're not quite sure what happened. The last thing that you remember is watching this flame at the bottom of the hole flicker out. Everything else after that is just a fuzz, and you're not sure quite what's happening. You look around and you notice immediately that you're not in the same place that you were before. You are in the center of this long hallway, this corridor that's darker than the original one was. The strips along the wall that are shedding very, very dim light, almost none at all. And it's cold. It's actually colder than you felt in this prison, even in your cell. And that's a little bit unsettling, just because you're not quite sure what all this prison has in store for you. You faced a lot of dangers in your past, and you've made it out alive. You're still sure you're going to make it out alive, but this is the first time you're questioning. As you look around, like I said, you're in the center of this hallway, and to each side, this corridor just seems to go on in both directions into darkness, where not even these dim lights seem to be able to reach. And laying just a few feet away from you is the limp body of Fizz. He doesn't seem to be moving, but you don't see the others. You don't see the other members of your party. What would you like to do?
Kersk tries to pick himself up as quietly as he can and moves to Fizz, places a hand on his shoulder, starts to kind of shake him. He just whispers, "Wake up, we need to move." And he starts trying to transmit psychic, the same thought psychically to him, telepathically, just hoping to like break into whatever dreams he's experiencing right now, and maybe he can hear the voice in the blackness and come out of his unconscious state, and just kind of keep shaking him, and starts kind of looking to either side. And as he's doing this, he reaches out his hand and to the other side and starts kind of quietly muttering as well. And he materializes one of his packed weapons creating a long quarterstaff that's wreathed in sort of a black, writhing shadow.
Yeah, so you notice quite easily that you are being silent. But even though you're being as stealthy as possible and as quiet as possible, just the slightest movement, the tap of your feet against the floor, almost like the swirling of your hand as you're conjuring this weapon, seems to echo off the walls. It's like this place is devoid of everything. And so all sound is just enhanced. Fizz, you are passed out, but you feel this hand grab you and start to shake you slightly, and you do hear those words in the back of your head as you slowly come to consciousness.
Yeah, Fizz is dreaming. He is tinkering on some device, alchemical device, like as he always is, but something's gone wrong, and this one explodes in his face, and it's kind of just colorful explosions, greens and blues and pink flames, and it starts to spread. He kind of steps off his stool, and he feels a shoulder or a hand on his shoulder saying,
"Wake up! Wake up! We have to move."
And at that, Fizz will kind of open his eyes, look around, realize he's in the corridor, look up at his companion.
As soon as his eyes open, Kersk telepathically communicates, "Say nothing. Our every sound echoes." And he kind of gestures down either side of the hall and asks, "Do you know the way?"
So you just kind of like read my thoughts?
No, so he'll just kind of like, he'll say, just gesture and nod or something, because it's one-way communication, unfortunately.
Right, okay. So I don't know if I know the way. Should I try to see, maybe?
Yeah, you wouldn't know the way.
Right.
Even because like as you're kind of glancing around, you come to that same realization that you're obviously not in the same place that you were. And you try and think back, and the memories are all hazy. The last thing you can remember is coming full force contact with the back of the Crimson Ape and sending him down the hole. After that, it's just all this jumbled mess inside your head.
Okay. So, yeah, I'll look at him and just say, Kersk, and say, I don't know.
And as you're kind of just gesturing to him that you don't know, it's one of those things where you when you can tell that there's something that's been echoing for a while, and you just hear this bang, bang, and it's just the ever so slightest sound, but you can tell that it's echoing from down to the left of this corridor.
Kersk points to the right side of the corridor and tries to help Fizz up, and starts to move as quietly as possible, like almost barely lifting his feet, which I imagine are probably bare. I don't know. Do they give us shoes in the prison?
They would not. It is.
Yeah, so I'm just barefoot, just kind of like trying to like keep every step as muffled as possible, holding the staff sideways and kind of keeping a guiding hand on Fizz to make sure we don't lose each other in the darkness.
Fizz is hesitant to go the way that you're saying. I'm kind of like wanting to go investigate that noise, especially because they took my pet, and I want to find him I really want to find him, so I'm hoping like maybe this could be him.
So seeing you hesitate, Kersk lowers his head for a second, and he spins the staff around and holds it with both hands, and kind of readies himself and starts moving back to the left.
Kursk, as soon as you spin around and like you're gonna go head to the left, just out of the corner of your eye, like as you were spinning, it looks like somebody was standing there just up against the wall. And you kind of do a double take just to and get on guard, not knowing who was there. But upon looking again, there seems to be nobody there.
If it looks like no one's there, then I guess I want to go up to...
Oh, I'm sorry, that was Kursk. Kursk saw that.
Okay.
Yeah, so he would say to Fizz telepathically again, just be on your guard. I think I saw something, but I'm not sure. It wasn't there when I looked again. Be ready for anything.
All right, and then I assume that y'all continue or begin to make your way down this hall. And as you walk, you notice once again that every single little sound seems to echo and bounce off the walls, kind of merging with the other sounds as you move. You maybe try and slow down a little bit and pace yourself to try and limit the noise, but it doesn't seem to help. And so you just give up on trying to be as silent as possible. You still obviously are moving quietly.
While we move, Kersk will stop and kind of hold out his hand to stop Fizz for a moment. He holds out his staff. Let's see. There's no verbal component. Good. Yeah. And he just kind of twists it slightly, and 30 feet ahead of them, within the corridor, like a kind of clanging, kind of shuffling sound starts up from Minor Illusion. And he just holds Fizz there for a moment and just like presses a finger to his lips.
Yeah, so this noise starts up. And depending on how long you let this go, it doesn't seem to provoke any kind of reaction from anything, or it doesn't seem to trigger anything in the distance. But the noises that you create seem to add to this echoing on the walls.
Okay, he shuts it off after about 15 seconds, and then waits another 10 or so before motioning to Fizz to continue on.
All right, and you switch it off, and y'all continue, and then once again that banging comes, just that distant bang, bang, bang. The echoes just come kind of in waves, and but it doesn't seem like you're getting any closer to it. Even the further you walk, it seems like you're not getting anywhere. This darkness that's always just on the horizon of this corridor is always there. And the dim light strips that go along the walls that are shedding this very faint light are always there. So there's no empty patches of darkness, but there always seems to be darkness ahead of you and behind you. And as you're walking, Kersk, you see that kind of a figure again out of your peripheral. And once again, you do that quick double take, and nobody's there.
And this time, Kersk turns to Fizz and says it out loud. I saw it again. He's not telepathically communicating. He says, this is pointless. This silence is getting us nowhere. There's something up ahead, but it seems to be running from us or luring us on.
Fizz, you hear him talking to you, and when he says the silence is getting us nowhere, it's almost like your brain switches off and you don't hear the rest of it. Instead, something about that takes you back in your mind. And you start recalling a memory. And it's a memory of your wife saying to you, "The silence is getting us nowhere. Let's just stop fighting. You should quit your job. We'll move somewhere else. We'll take the baby. We'll just go." And you know that this is the memory of the last fight that you had right before she passed away. I want you to tell me what this fight was about.
Well, it was about what all of our fights were always about. It was about work. She hated the work that I was doing, but this was going to be the last job that I pulled so that I could set us up so that we could finally go away with our baby and live the lives we wanted to. And I just, I had to finish this final order of explosives. And I was trying some new formulas. They were demanding larger explosions. I never asked what the targets were, but find out later. So we were fighting about me doing the job.
Yeah, and you're replaying that whole event in your mind. You're explaining that to her, that you're trying to do this for her and the baby, and that you're doing what you believe is the right thing. You're trying to help. And you remember her running off out the door in tears. And then you're brought back to the present moment with Kersk just kind of staring at you because you've been zoned out for a good 15, 20 seconds, just kind of staring off into the distance.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the silence is getting us nowhere. What do you want to do?
Come on, this is no time to lose your wits. Need your brain more now than ever.
Let me see. I don't know. Can I try like an investigation to see what this darkness is kind of about?
Yeah, you can give me investigation or arcana or arcana.
Okay.
Anything that you really think would apply.
Ooh, 11.
Which one?
Investigation or
Investigation.
Either one.
Yeah, no. So you're looking at it and you can't really fathom. You're trying to apply, your skills
Physical
as
explanations, magical explanations,
and like you know that there's magic that can do it.
But I don't know which spells. I don't know.
Yeah, it's there's too many factors involved, and the fact that it's moving or seems to be moving with you is throwing you off a little bit. You had logical explanations for it, and then once you applied more factors, it just kind of fell apart.
Yeah, and I'm kind of just like going through all of these potential explanations to Kersk, saying, "Well, yes, it's probably this. No, it's not that because of this. Well, but it could be this, but it's of course this." So
he shakes his head for a minute and he looks up to the ceiling. About how high up does the ceiling look?
It's about 30 feet up. It's a relatively tall ceiling.
Okay. All right. So he says, "All right, I have an idea. I want to see something." And he takes his quarterstaff and he sets it on the ground and he faces one direction, and he kind of gestures to Fizz, and he drops the quarterstaff, and he starts to move in one direction, and he'll hold this up for, I think it's about 5 minutes before it would disappear anyway. But he's basically trying to see if there's like some sort of imperceptible curve, like he's moving as quickly as he can in one direction to see if he loops back around on itself or something, to figure out if there's something we're not noticing, you know?
Yeah, so you you didn't cast light or anything on it. You're just dropping the staff to see if you can see it as you walk.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you drop it
Maybe
in
like
place.
run back into it.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you drop it and you begin walking. And once you get roughly 10, 15 feet away from it, it vanishes from your sight. And like it's just gone. It's covered by the darkness.
I think you're onto something here. Let me you go back. I'll stay here. We'll see if the light follows us.
Yeah, I'll start to do that. I'll start to head back towards where where I set the staff down.
All right. Yeah, you do. Okay. Yeah, so y'all are separating in this corridor, and Kersk goes back to where he dropped the staff, and you find it perfectly fine. And it's kind of like once you take that step right beyond that 15-foot point, Fizz, he just vanishes, is like engulfed by the darkness.
And I immediately take a step back across it as soon as he disappears.
So you step back, and it's on that transition from, he disappears, and as you go to step back, you don't quite get through this seemingly invisible threshold, this darkness, before you hear footsteps like something small running behind you, and you can kind of hear it echo off the walls. Fizz, you do not hear this.
Did I have time to pick up my staff?
Yeah, if you wanted to pick up your staff, that'd be fine.
Actually, I guess I probably haven't yet because I was walking back to it, and as soon as I walked past the threshold, I tried to walk back. But so as soon as I hear this this noise behind me, I would actually he just dismisses the staff on the ground and conjures a new weapon in his hand, and creating a say a rapier this time, something a little bit smaller, more manageable. And he just stands at the ready looking to see if there's anything in front of him.
Yeah, you stand at the ready, and you're looking, and you kind of do that quick glance from side to side just to try and locate the sound. And out of, it's kind of one of those things where as you turn your head one way, out of the corner eye, you catch a figure. Then when you whip your head back, it's gone, but out the other corner of your eye, there's another figure. And every once in a while, there's these rushed, short, quick footsteps that just kind of echo across the walls.
Yeah, Kersk turns and moves as quickly as he can back towards where he thinks Fizz should be.
Yeah, and once you just take one or two more steps towards his direction, you both would come back into view of each other almost instantaneously. So Fizz, you would see Kersk walked into the darkness unarmed and has now walked out with a rapier.
Rather frantically.
Yeah.
What did you see? Did you find your staff?
I found it. There was more of that skittering and those figures. Every time I turn my head, I see them. But then they're gone.
I don't see them. It's just the darkness playing tricks on your mind.
I wish I could believe you.
And as y'all are discussing this, you hear that banging once again, that echoing bang, and you can kind of tell now. You may have suspected it before, but it sounds like something's hitting, like almost like metal against metal, like a large piece of metal against a large piece of metal. It's not like sword and shield or sword and blade or anything like that. It's not weapons clashing. It seems to just be two large chunks of metal hitting each other.
I can hear the metal scraping. It surely must be my minion. Let us go closer.
If we can find anyone else, and at least we'll know we're getting closer to a way out of here. Yeah, so we'll press on and continuing in the direction of the noise.
All right, so you continue on. As long as y'all don't stop for any reason that y'all would want to, you would continue walking for what seems like 2 or 3 hours. You're taking your time trying to make as least noise as possible while still moving forward. And
I've probably given up on trying to be quiet at this point.
Okay, just completely?
Yeah, after like another half hour, because it seems like it's already been like a good hour of walking, of like trying to move quietly. And then we just Kersk would kind of get a little bold and tired of it and just like, fuck this, we're walking. Oh, sorry. I don't know if language is a problem.
I have no problem with language. So, yeah, so you're not really trying anymore you screw that, and I'm just walking. And something that you do notice, though, is that even though that from this transition from silent mode to normal, there doesn't seem to be a whole bunch of change. There's still that slight echoing that comes off the walls. Almost like the initial sound doesn't really matter. It's just the fact that there is sound makes it echo. And you continue to walk. And this time, Kersk, you get that cold shiver up your spine, like somebody's run a piece of ice down your back, and it just makes you ever so slightly look back, not a full turn, just a glance, and you see that figure again, but this time it's very distinct. And it is the last person that you killed. As far as the last person you killed for one of your rituals. I want you to describe what this person looks like.
He's a rather a tall man. He was a sailor of some sort that must have his ship had capsized, and most of his crewmates had already drowned or been taken by sharks or other sea creatures. But when we found him, he was already half emaciated from starvation, and so he's very tall and lean and ragged, kind of sailor's clothing that seems like it hasn't been mended in weeks or maybe a month, with kind of a gaunt, haunted face. But still enough life in him to be a worthy sacrifice, especially one lost on the seas like that. Anytime one can be reclaimed from surviving a shipwreck and then given back to the gods of the sea, they seem pleased.
Yeah, and the detail when you look at him is is eerily, I guess, exact. He really looks like the last time that you actually laid eyes on him. The only difference is that he has the wound that you gave him that was the killing blow, which I believe you take their hearts, correct?
Yes, yeah. So it's a large red stripe over his chest.
Yeah, so you see that just as you glance back, and that causes you to jolt just a little bit to actually turn. But as you begin to turn more to take the sight fully in, it's gone. There's nobody there. All you can see is the darkness in the distance.
This place is playing all kinds of tricks with my mind. You tell me if you see anything out of the ordinary. Until you see something, I'm not going to believe it's really there.
Yes, of course.
And with that, if y'all continue walking, it's a constant barrage, as every few minutes there's that shadow out of the corner that Kersk sees. Some he may mention to Fizz, some he may not. But as the time passes, it's shadow here, shadow there, and then a very distinct vision of one of these many people that Kersk has killed. All of them with that same wound on them from where he has taken their heart. And they're always standing just beyond your reach. At no point are they close enough where they could touch you or you could touch them. They're just on the edge of where you are. And as you're walking, both of you almost instantly would notice this dead silence. And it's one of those things that actually feels like it hit you, because you've been listening to this echoing going on. Every once in a while you hear the bang, bang, bang of metal on metal in the distance. There's the shuffling of your feet. There's the moving of your bodies that seems to just echo off the walls. There's your breathing that you can hear. And maybe even, you can feel and almost in your ears hear your heart pumping at some of these points, and then just silence. Dead silence.
Did it stop?
Are you saying that out loud?
Yeah.
All right. You say it, but you say it, but no sound comes out.
Then I kind of yell, like,
yeah, and it's just like that too. You're just throwing a hissy fit, and there's no sound at all.
Kersk's face gets very confused and concerned as he sees his companion kind of screaming silently. And he telepathically communicates, I can't hear you if you're... Something's very wrong with this place.
Yeah, and Fizz, you would be able to hear that.
Yeah, I would try to respond, but of course nothing would come out.
As the few seconds that y'all are trying to figure this out, if you both give me perception checks. Okay. So Kersk would notice that in the direction that you're coming, that something has stepped through that darkness, that veil, and it's quite clear. It's an elven man, long black hair. He's got almost what we might consider like a karate kind of uniform on, but he has this patch over on one of his sleeves that's real big. It takes up most of the sleeve. And you would realize that you've seen that patch before, and you have seen it on the few captains that you have seen, that they also wear this kind of patch somewhere on their uniform. And Kersk, that's what you see, is this elven man step through, and you can identify him as one of the captains. Is there anything that you would like to do? Either would you like to let Fizz know, or
Yeah, definitely point it out to grab Fizz by the shoulder or arm and point him to it. And actually, let's see. Does it look like he's looking directly at us right now?
Oh yeah, he is. He's about 15 feet away from you because he's just stepped beyond the shadows, and he's looking directly at you. And now that you're really focused on where he's looking, he's looking at you, but it's almost like this distant kind of stare.
Okay, well, despite it being a distant stare, Kersk is going to take every precaution and place his hand on his forehead and sort of draw a line down and cast mage armor on himself with his invocation as it kind of creeps around from the back of him and encases him. That same kind of swirl of shadow as it kind of clarifies to a transparent. And he'll kind of split aside from Fizz and head to the other side of the corridor and try to start moving towards this guy he's gonna hopefully have Fizz circle around him, get on both sides.
All right, Fizz, is there anything that you would like to do, like a quick thing that you would like to do before this man is within just under 10 feet of you?
Yeah, Fizz will go ahead and cast. Can I cast a spell?
What spell are you wanting to cast?
Alter Self. It's a full action.
Yeah, no, I'll allow that.
Okay, cool. Fizz will grow 2 ram horns out of his forehead. And that will give him 1d6 plus 1 bludgeoning damage.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So as you do that, Kersk has this armor that goes around him, and he starts to split from you, and you kind of grow these horns, these ram horns, and you're both, at least I assume, you're both very intently watching this gentleman approach. And there's this moment where, as you're looking at him, it's like your eyes lag. He's standing there, and then as he takes another step, he's also there. So there's almost 2 images of him. And he takes another step, and now there are 3 images of him. And as he takes another step, that last image disappears. So it's kind of like this after image that as he takes every step, and he slowly starts to sway, and these images sway with him. And that's when he, let's see. All right. He looks directly at you, Fizz. And that's when you know he can definitely see you. He's there. And I'd like everybody to roll initiative. All right. So, Fizz, you will have the first move. What would you like to do? He is looking at you, and he does kind of, he's still swaying slightly, but he is kind of leaning more in your general direction.
As soon as I realize that he can see us, I am going to just kind of go down into a squat and then sprint right towards him, wanting to ram him right in the stomach.
All right. What'd you get on that?
I got a 19. Natural.
19? Okay. Okay, that's cool.
So, yeah.
But what I need you to do, for this guy, because of this after image, there's almost like a luck roll to see if you can hit. It's just a D20. All you got to do is get above 10 every time that you attack.
Okay.
So you definitely have been able to pinpoint him. Go ahead and roll your actual attack.
Okay, so this is my actual attack. Oh, nat 1.
Alrighty. So
it really was not him, although I was certain it was.
That's less than ideal.
Last minute, he just does the sidestep, and you go right through one of these after images.
I'm off balance for sure because I expected an impact and it did not happen. And I'm like, whoa, just stumbling forward.
Give me an athletics or acrobatics check.
$11.
Yeah, you're gonna try and right yourself, but just the addition with the horns and the full momentum of your head down and going forward, you kind of do come to a skirt, but it sends you into prone. And you just kind of slide down onto your knees trying to stop yourself. Kersk.
Yeah, seeing this sort of abject failure occur, Kersk is going to attempt something a little more straightforward, I guess. With just he's going to point the he'll just extend his hand out and fire an Eldritch Blast at this guy. I've totally forgotten how many I get at level 10.
I know it's at least 2.
It's 2.
Right.
Becomes 3 at 11. Okay. So I'd like to fire the first one, see if it hits, see if I'm firing for the right image.
All right. So go ahead, give me 2 D20 rolls for both of them, just to see if.
Okay. All right. So the that would be so a 24 and a 15. All
right. The 24 one definitely is going to be, because this is going to be for the image. The 24 one's definitely going to pick out the right one, and you're wanting to fire one shot first and then kind of hold the second one back.
Yeah, just to see if the first one hits before firing it again.
Yeah, it's you're trailing him with your eyes, and you've kind of figured out the pattern. So you've locked onto him and you fire that shot, and he kind of does that same sidestep motion, and the beam just hits the wall. It passes through this image of him, and then you realize that there's another image of him just on the other side of it. Would you like to try and fire that second bolt?
Yeah, I would.
All right, so yeah, give me 2 of them.
Okay. Which should I do, the to find him first or the to hit first?
The find him first. It's just a straight
16.
D20 roll.
16.
Okay, yep, you found him.
And then the other one would be a 17 to hit.
So the way I kind of picture it is, you launched one, held one back just for a second, and then launched it again. And the first one goes through that after image. The second one, he just barely dodges it. And this time, his movements have been very calm and very controlled. This one actually looked like he actually had to dodge it. It wasn't just a simple step to the side. He really had to get out of the way quick with that one. And because you were so close, y'all are looking for an 18 to hit.
Oof.
And then it's going to be his turn. Kersk, since you were the last one to fire at him and came very close to hitting him, he starts to do that swaying motion as he's coming at you. And he raises up a fist to go to punch you. That's a 19 on the die.
Yeah, that's going to hit. That's going to hit.
Right. All right, so that's going to be 8 points of bludgeoning damage as he just lands this punch in the center of your chest.
Yeah, these shadows kind of reach out to try to catch it and cushion some of the blow, but he just cracks through them, and you can see like cracks appear in the shadow.
That was a cool description. I like that. Actually, I'm going to give you a point of inspiration for that because I like descriptions. So, and with that, when you feel that contact connect, the impact kind of radiates throughout your body. It seems to go through every limb, every muscle, even to the bone. And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Do warlocks have proficiency on con saves? I didn't mark that down. I thought it was con and charisma, but I can check it. I'm right there.
Okay.
Nope, wisdom and charisma. All right, that means it's a 13.
Yeah, so you feel that contact, you feel it ripple through your body, and there's that instinct to move, to dodge, and get out of the way of what might be coming next, and your body won't respond. You are stunned until the end of your next turn. Yeah. And in Kersk, you're watching this as this happens, as the man looks up into your eyes, and he has that dead stone kind of look. Like he's just not there. At least mentally, he's not there. And you see him, without looking, start to turn to go back to where Fizz is knelt on the ground. And Fizz, just as you look up, you see this man kind of sliding in, almost like sliding into home base as he lunges and is going to try and kick you. And because you are prone, does a 14 hit you? All right. Dang, you took some good damage there. So that's going to be 9 points of bludgeoning damage to you. And I need you to also make a Constitution saving throw.
20.
Nat? Or no?
No, modified.
Okay. Yeah, you pass. He kicks you, and it sends you sliding backwards. And you feel that same ripple, but you're able just to shrug it off. Just kind of, you seem unaffected. Maybe your horns absorb some of that impact. And he's kind of like crouching down on the ground looking at you, Fizz. And it is now your turn.
Okay. I want to get up, grab him if he's crouching, because now he'll be kind of like almost face to face with me. Grab his shirt and like headbutt him right in the face. So roll 2, right?
Yeah, the first one just to see if like you can actually like grab a hold of him, essentially like targeting him. All you gotta do is get 10 or more.
Yep.
Okay. And then go ahead and roll that actual attack.
That is 19.
That hits.
Yes.
Go ahead and roll damage. And that was just a straight headbutt. Oh, you're doing it with the horns. The horns. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And the horns are considered magic, by the way, so it's not just regular.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah. 5 damage.
Awesome. So yeah, you grab his shirt and you headbutt him. Are you going to want to try and keep a hold of him, or are you going to kind of like let him go as you headbutt him?
I'm going to let him go as I headbutt him.
Okay. And with that, I don't have it right in front of me, but Kersk, it is your turn. I don't remember everything that can and cannot be done with stunned.
I do not either. Can I make an attempt to break it, or is it just that one save?
Stunned is a creature is incapacitated, can't move, and can speak only falteringly. The creature automatically fails strength and dex saving throws. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage.
Okay. No, yeah, it's just
an incapacitated creature can't take actions or reactions.
Oh, okay. Dang. So yeah, if there's any kind of mental thing you'd like to do, you may at this time. And it is just until the end of your turn. As soon as your turn ends, it's over.
Yeah, he'll just telepathically communicate as soon as he sees him headbutt him, like, yeah, kill this son of a bitch.
Alrighty. And kind of as you're saying that, you start to be able to feel the movement come back to your body. And it is his turn again. It is this blurry man's this after image. I don't even know what to call him. I didn't come up with a name. He's just the captain that causes after images. But he looks up at you, Fizz, and he's got this little bit of blood trickling. I like that, Captain Glitch. He's got this little bit of blood trickling from his forehead from these two spots that your horns have hit. But he seems kind of unfazed by it. He's not really, doesn't seem to be paying a whole bunch of attention to it. There's already blood covering his eyes and going into his eyes, and it seems to be unaffecting him at all. He stands up kind of slowly and starts that movement again where these after images start to flow. And it's still dead silence. Not a single step, no movement can be heard. And he jumps up and tries to bring a leg down on you, Fizz, as he tries to attack, and he will miss. I I'd like you to describe to me how he misses.
So I'm just going to, like, he's going to get me, but he's going to just get me right on the horn, and I'm not even going to feel it, you know? He, like, hits the horns, and I just, like, look at him and smile.
Awesome. And he looks down as he sees that you're completely unfazed. And it's this like jump backward motion where he goes up against the wall. And it's just the ever so slightest shadow is being cast just underneath one of these strips on the wall. And it's like he aimed for it. And as his foot touches it, he kind of just sinks into it. And it's gone. Fizz. We are still at least going to act in combat order or initiative order. What would you like to do?
He's a damn shadow walker. I want to go over to Kersk and, like, I guess try to pick him up and shake him awake. He's no longer stunned. And so I guess, yeah, just go and, like, kind of pick him up, looking right where, scanning to see if I can find this guy at all.
All right, give me a perception check.
Me modified.
What was it? What was that again?
Sorry.
Cool. Yeah, I guess I got some technical difficulties on my end. Cool. So yeah, you're looking around, glancing around, and as you kind of look, you can just make out as he's beginning to exit the wall, kind of right next to y'all. He's exiting kind of out of this same shadow cast by a light on the other wall, just underneath. So he's kind of coming at an angle out from the corner of the floor. And I will consider it still your turn.
There he is. And I just want to try to ram him again, like pinching him against the wall, hopefully.
Is it still silent?
It is still silent.
Okay.
This time
I don't hear him yell, there he is, but I see him like run headlong into him.
This time you won't have to roll to see if you're getting the right image, because he is pretty much just coming out of the wall. There's no way you could miss him as far as that.
Okay. Cool. So just roll an attack.
Yep.
14.
Yep, that one misses. He just got out just in time to kind of do that same sidestep motion as you hit the wall with your horns. Yeah, you kind of bounce back a little bit. If there's anything else you would like to try and do, any kind of movement or bonus action, things like that, you may.
No.
All right. Kersk, it is now your turn.
So kind of shaken out of this stun, and then immediately into into Fizz, running headfirst into this thing, towards it. Kersk spins around, kind of half seeing this, but sees the thing emerge, and immediately runs towards it with his rapier, trying to get 2 good slashes in on him as quick as he can. Oh, I'm not hearing you. You're muted.
I'm sorry. I would like you to first roll me a, I guess just like a concentration check. So just Constitution.
Okay. 12. Yeah, 12.
Okay. As you're rushing at him to try and hit him, you see out of the corner of your eye one of those figures again. You don't dwell on it too long. It was just enough to notice that it was there, but something about this one felt different. Like you recognized it, but it wasn't. You couldn't focus on it at this point in time, so you just continued with your attack. So go ahead and roll for. I'll say that he hasn't had time yet to really move for that after image, so just roll for an attack.
First one's a miss, and the second one is a 26.
Yep, that hits.
That should hit.
Oh yeah,
that should hit most things. Awesome. So it's only a D8 for a rapier, but hey, I got an 8.
Nice.
So that's gonna be 11 points of damage. So Kersk spins in, slashing with this thing, and he's able to kind of do that quick glitchy dodge that he seems to keep doing. But he brings it down a little bit quicker and at a stranger angle than this thing expected, and was able to cut a little ribbon.
Awesome. So yeah, so you're he seems to not be able to do well with these multi attacks, and he kind of gives this look at you, and really looking at him now that he's kind of tried to take a couple steps back, almost stumbling, not so much that he's consciously taking steps back, that there is blood just completely covering his eyes. It's almost there's really no way that he could actually be seeing at this point, especially since he hasn't tried to wipe the blood away from his eyes. And he starts that swaying motion again, and those after images begin to go. And he just takes a couple of steps forward and brings a leg up to kick Fizz. He's just basically trying to roundhouse you. That's a 14 to hit Fizz. Yeah. All right. So that's going to be 10 points of bludgeoning damage to you. And then I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. And you're looking for a DC 17.
11.
Yeah, so you are now stunned. You feel that the force of this kick just like resonate inside your body, and you just can't bring yourself to move. And he goes, that brings that kick into you. And then as he starts to walk past you again, he brings an elbow up, basically just as almost like an afterthought to elbow you as he's going by, aiming at, he's heading towards Kersk, but he throws that elbow up to try and hit Fizz one more time. There's your stun. Yeah, that's going to be a 16 to hit. Oh, that time you got it good. So that's going to be 5 points of bludgeoning damage. And you're already stunned, so that's okay. And in this quick motion, quicker than you've actually seen him move before, Kersk, he's up on you. He covered a few feet in almost an instant. And he's going to try and attack you. It's going to be a 14 to hit.
Miss.
Okay.
I like that.
So, and what kind of happens, and you probably see this because you've kind of learned this motion that the way he moves. And he came up right to you, almost face to face. And you followed him as he crouched down to try and come up with like an uppercut, trying to make you linger on this after image. And you just take that step back. You just move. and he wasn't expecting it, so he pretty much comes up right in front of you once again. Fizz, is there anything mentally that you would like to try and do? Anything you'd like to try and figure out, or anything that doesn't require movement?
So I guess we know that this guy is a captain. Is there anything that will give me a hint as to if like he's on some sort of like, I don't know, steroids or drugs or something? Like, why are his eyes bloodshot?
Yeah, no, definitely. I guess give me only thing I can think of is maybe medicine check or something, some kind of knowledge
Okay,
check
can I like just
or intelligence.
thoroughly look at him and see if there's anything that gives me any sort of like indication as to I don't know, anything interesting on his person, I guess.
Okay.
Like an investigation, just searching.
Yeah, go ahead and give me an investigation.
16.
16. Yeah, so something you do notice is that you're really trying to inspect this guy and figure it out. And as you're looking him up and down, his bag's pretty much to you. So it's pretty easy to see once you realized it. But down at the bottom of his pants, there on the back of his legs at the bottom, one, he is barefoot, kind of like y'all are. But at the bottom, there's blood actually coming out from the pants, like along the backs of his ankles. And as he's kind of moving, every once in a while, the legs will come up. I don't even know what to call them. I keep wanting to call them sleeves. The pants legs come up. And you realize that both of the tendons on the back of his feet are cut. And you know that there is no way that this man should be moving around.
Okay.
All right. And then it is Kirk's turn. And Fizz, you are now no longer stunned. So, Kersk, what would you like to do? The gentleman, Captain Glitch, is standing directly in front of you.
He's right up in my face. Seeing this as kind of an issue, Kersk will raise his hand up and do kind of a Vader force choke move as he kind of. Oh no! Wait, I probably can't because I think it has a verbal component, and I am silent right now. Never mind. That's right. Okay. You know what? Actually, he's so as he starts to raise one hand, he starts to try to speak this spell, and realizes that no sound is coming out. And then he just decides to try to use whatever distraction his one hand may have provided as he slashes wildly with the other hand, trying to kind of push this guy back, drive him back a bit with the rapier.
All right. Before you roll for that, go ahead and give me a D8 roll, like we used in the last session. It's a luck roll.
3.
3. Yeah, because he's just void, and also doesn't seem like he's relying on sight. The distraction with the hand seems to have granted no benefit.
Fair.
So go ahead with that.
Okay. So my first roll on the D20 was 15. To find him or whatever.
Yep, that was good.
Okay, and so then the first attack is a darn. That's only a 16.
Yep. Yep. You're looking for 18.
Yeah, and so then with the second attack, I will use my point of inspiration. No, I'm not actually. I just missed 11.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold on to that inspiration. I have a better use for it.
And you're attacking twice, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
So
I couldn't even find him the first time. So
the first time you did.
or the second time. I mean, the second one I rolled a 4 to find him.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't matter with the attack.
Yeah. So so you're trying to slash at him, and it's just not working. Every time you slash, he's doing some kind of side movement or odd acrobatic jump, and you're just slicing through these after images. And he kind of does one of these jumps kind of over your blade and does like a Superman pose in the air, just like, huh, and comes down and basically is trying to bring like a karate chop onto your neck. And that's an 18 on the die. That's it. All right. All right, so
And well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
And I'm going to use my reaction to cast. Wait, I don't think that there's a verbal component of this one. Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure I can actually do this. Damn it. Never mind. All my spells are useless. So much for Hellish Rebuke. Been holding on to that one forever.
Give me a D8 roll.
3 again.
Okay, yeah.
Like
You try and use it like almost like muscle memory. And
yeah, just like
yeah, it just doesn't work. So he brings that karate chop down on you, and
how many points was it? 10?
10, yep. 10 points of bludgeoning. And then comes in, and in like a second, you're still looking at this after image that has karate chopped you, and you feel somebody try and grip you from behind, and he's basically just trying to grapple you. Actually, not basically. He is trying to grapple you.
Opposed strength, right?
Yeah, yours is. You can choose to use acrobatics or athletics.
Oh.
Yeah, you can choose to use either one.
Well, I will use athletics. Which
You're trying to beat a 15.
Oh, well, I rolled a 15 on the die, and I have a +6 overall, so 21.
So you're very easily able to avoid him, as you catch on quick enough as you see or feel these arms try and wrap around you from behind. And with that, it's going to be Fizz's turn. Yeah, it's your turn, Fizz.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good.
No longer stunned?
You're no longer stunned.
Oh, right. I've already talked. Yeah, okay. So I think I'm going to just try to realizing I'm not going to be able to headbutt him very easily. I guess I'm going to try to just stab him with a dagger.
All right, so roll the d20 to see if you can find him, or at least
14 on the die to find him.
Cool.
Only 12 to hit him, so miss.
Yep. So that, unfortunately, alrighty. Anything else you'd like trying to do? All right. Kersk, it is now your turn.
All right. Coming to the slow and terrifying realization that he is essentially disarmed in a realm of silence, Kersk is going to continue his wild flailing attempts to slash at this thing with his rapier. So that is a 5 to find it. So that first slash might, well, let's see. The first slash, yeah, cuts straight through the middle of one of these after images. Would have been a great hit. The second one's an 18 to find it. And critical fail on the attack roll.
All right. So you go to, you're kind of like tracing the after images with your blade, figuring, sooner or later I'm going to hit him. And as you get closer, you realize that he stopped moving and actually turns to face the blade. And I'm actually going to have you roll damage as he just takes it. What was that?
7. I did the opposite of what I meant to do. 7.
7. All right. So yeah, so it just pretty much goes straight into, you're like slashing at him, and it goes straight into his gut. And you see the blood start to trickle over the sword, and then he grabs the blade and then grabs your arm. And we're considering you grappled right now. Sorry, I had to do math. So he has your sword in one hand and like your forearm in the other. And I want you to roll a strength check.
$19.
Nice. So what he does is he kind of drops down like he's going to try and throw you over his shoulder. But you're just, compared to you, you're huge. You're normally larger than most people, but this is a smaller elf man. He's roughly the same height as you. Not quite, but he's very thin compared to you. So he really can't get you up and over his shoulder. But what he does do is as he goes down, he kind of brings this leg up in between your legs, kind of behind him like he's going to try and kick you. That's going to be a 14, which I believe misses.
Yep.
All
yeah,
right.
this little swirling shadow kind of like reaches out from like between his legs and kind of like holds his leg back as it tries to get him.
Yep. So, and with that, that was actually pretty cool. Give me a D8 roll. I like using luck whenever people give me good descriptions. So. 4. Okay, yeah. So it's almost like it just kind of creates this like almost this armored cup kind of thing where it just stops him. And it's almost like it confuses him. He doesn't react immediately. So Fizz, it is going to be your turn.
Okay, so while this guy has kicked him, I want to try and headbutt his one leg again and try to like knock him off balance or something, or just headbutt towards his legs, however that ends up happening. But only 4 for the first one.
Yeah, I'll say because he's not moving, it's just like a normal attack, but a 4 still wouldn't hit him.
Right. Yeah.
Although, would you gain it? I can't remember. I think if you're grappling, if you're the one doing the grappling, it still has advantage on attacks against you because you're both considered restrained. So go ahead and roll with advantage because he's not moving at all.
That's much better. That's 21 modified.
Oh yeah, that'll hit. Let's go ahead and roll damage for that.
7.
7. I'm gonna make him. Okay, yeah. So you knock his leg out from under him, and you hear a crunch. You hear a snap. So you're pretty sure you just broke his leg. And so he kind of goes down, but he's still like holding on to Kersk, but he has no real leverage with his legs anymore. One's seemingly broken and the other one's out from under him. So Kersk, it is your turn. You basically have this man holding on to your arm.
Is he holding on to my sword arm or my other arm?
Your sword arm. He has your sword in one hand and then your sword arm in the other hand, as best he can.
Okay. Not gonna worry about trying to move or escape or anything. With the hand that he's holding, I would just let go of the sword, and it just begins to kind of crumble and dissipate from the middle into sort of sparks and ash. And then in the other outstretched hand, the quarterstaff begins to. Actually, you know what? It looks like the quarterstaff is starting to kind of appear again. And then at the end of it, this large battle axe head that's kind of wreathed in the same sort of shadow and got an etched tentacle creature on the side of it appears in his offhand, and he just kind of grins at this thing in front of him, and he tries to communicate into its mind telepathically. You're making a big mistake.
Yeah, and there seems to be no reaction from you communicating with it, but you do something that's odd. Is you do get this feeling back. That same, you've probably had people telepathically communicate with you before, and it's that similar feeling that, somebody's touching your mind. But it's that same kind of silence. Like there's nothing there. But you do get this quick flash of an image. And it's only an instant. And it's the picture of a face of somebody. And you instantly realize that it's the same person that you saw while you were attacking only moments before. That you saw at the corner of your eye, but it's just that the flashes of this image are just too quick for you to actually focus in on them. But you know that this figure is very familiar to you for some reason. I believe that's your turn for conjuring the weapon, right? All right.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Captain Glitch's turn. And so the sword just dissipates in his hand, so his hand just kind of is there holding nothing, while his other hand is just kind of holding on to your arm very almost limply, because he doesn't have a very good grip around your wide forearm. And then in a quick jerking motion, his other hand snaps up and grabs that same arm, and he does this like crocodile alligator death roll as he's trying to do whatever he can, almost like a wild animal. It's just thrashing out. So I need you to give me another strength save.
Save or check?
I
don't think it matters, actually.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, if you have it, yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if I should use it. No, 14.
14?
14.
He nat 20'd it.
Final answer. Ah, well, glad I didn't waste my inspiration.
So he grabs a hold of your arm and starts just death rolling it. I'm gonna have you roll the D8 for a luck die.
5.
5. So it's almost just like an Indian rug burn kind of thing, or Indian rope burn, because you're strong enough not to really move from this, but he's like pretty much whipping around trying to like twist your arm out of socket, and he's gonna do 4 points of damage, just from the jerking motion of this death roll. And I'm gonna say Fizz, because you're kind of looking at this objectively from a different angle. You start to see that he is sinking into the floor. This captain is sinking into the floor, into the shadow that is being cast by Kersk. And in an instant, he lets go and is gone. He has disappeared into the shadow once again. And we'll go back up to the top of the initiative, which is Fizz.
You're a coward, you shadow walker. Come out here and face us.
Yeah, so yeah, you're screaming at him, but there's just no noise. It's just that dead silence still. Would you like to try and I assume you're probably trying to look around for him like you did before.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to try to do.
Okay.
Look around for him.
So give me a perception check.
16.
Okay. So yeah, so you're looking around again, and you see him, kind of like he did this last time, come out from this one corner of the wall, and just steps right on out. He's far enough away from you. He's about 15 feet away from you at this point. He's just coming out of these random shadows. But when he comes out of this one, he's about 15 feet away from you. And he walks out like nothing ever happened to his leg. He's standing on it just fine. There's no pain on his face. There's really just this blood-coated face is what you're looking at, because he has still not tried to wipe the blood from his eyes.
Can I try to throw a dagger at him?
Yeah.
So is this needs 2 rolls?
I'm gonna say no, that you're gonna be able to, because he's not currently moving. He kind of stopped, so we'll say that it's just a normal attack.
20 modified.
Oh yeah, that hits.
For 5 points of damage. I fling the dagger across to him, aiming right for the leg that I thought I broke. I want to stab it in there.
Yeah, and it plunges deep into his leg, almost up to the handguard, and just nothing. Like he doesn't even flinch. But he's definitely bleeding from a couple of different places. He is not looking good, and especially in Kersk's experience, he's probably pretty close to being done, because lost a good little bit of blood and he's taken some damage. So you come to the conclusion, Kersk, that he shouldn't be alive for much longer. And with that, it is your turn, Kersk.
Seeing him emerge again, Kersk kind of flies off the handle a little bit and takes this newly summon battle axe and sort of a baseball swing, both hands straight towards him, just trying to take him out as brutally as possible.
Yep. And just give me a normal attack roll.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to use that inspiration after all. I'm going to go ahead and use it because that 2 is not acceptable. Never mind. That didn't. I guess the two stands because the 1 is worse. So the first attack is a miss. Second attack is a modified 19.
Yep, that'll hit.
19. All right, there we go. Finally. All right, that's better. 8 damage. And Kersk has a kind of a frenzied grin on his face as he's slamming his axe into this thing after all the damage it's inflicted.
Yeah, and I think the first strike, it's not that so much that it missed as it you just ran in and swung too soon. So it just kind of barely grazed him and didn't really, it may not have even actually cut him. It just kind of cut his clothes. And then that second one, you laid into him with it.
Yeah, the second one was actually like after the first initial like swing, he came back and then like tried to like stab him with like a kind of hooked end of it and tried to bash it into him.
Right on. Yeah, so you get him with the tail end of it. And he kind of staggers backwards a little bit from this blow. And as he does, you notice that after image has begun. And he instantly takes off and actually runs around you. If you would like to take an attack of opportunity, you may.
Oh, definitely. Do I have to roll one to find him?
Yes.
Okay, 14.
Okay, you found him.
And only 16 to hit.
Yep. So unfortunately, that will miss. All right, so you found him right, but by the time you could get to him, that after image is already an after image at that point. And Fizz, you see him running directly at you, and he kind of does this like Muay Thai kind of move where he jumps up and tries to bring both of his knees into you. Does a 12 hit? Ah, oh, dang. Damn. All right. So that's going to be 12 damage, 12 bludgeoning damage as he slams into you. And then I need you to make a strength saving throw, please.
$17.
Okay. So you just make it. Like, you felt the full force of this. And any other time, this would have thrown you back several feet. But this time you actually saw it coming, especially because it was kind of a flashier move. And you were able to kind of stand firm as he hit when you realized you couldn't dodge it. Okay. And he lands in front of you very aptly. And as he lands, he's trying to bring an elbow down in between the horns onto your head. And that'll hit with a 15 on the die. So that's going to be 10 bludgeoning damage. What was that?
How much was that?
10.
Sorry, how much damage?
10 bludgeoning damage. And then I need you to give me a dexterity saving throw.
$21.
Okay, yeah. So you passed that one as well. Once again, you were still just holding fast, and you would just not give way. And Fizz, it's going to be your turn.
So this guy just rammed his knees right into my chest and then brought his elbow down in between my horns. I'm kind of like staggering back. My back is against the wall of the corridor, and I'm just going to launch off of the wall right into him. Or hopefully him, if it's not a mirror image of him.
I'm going to say it's not because he's basically just now landing.
Okay,
so I'm going to
cool.
say it's just a straight attack roll.
All right. 20 modified.
I'm waiting for that nat.
Yeah.
Yep, nope, that hits.
Ooh, and that's 8 damage.
Alrighty. And if you're done, it's going to be Kersk's turn.
So after seeing him run by me and miss my first blow, I'll turn square up with him again. Take that brief second to kind of watch the swing and like look between the images, pick out the one that I'm swinging for, the wrong one, and then take a mid-level swing at it, which also misses. So I missed the image. And then the other one, does a 13 find him? And a modify, or a 19. 19 to hit. So yep. That's going to be, ooh, hey, 12 damage. Rolled a 10 on that one. So yeah, this first swing, it's the same kind of thing where this first swing slices through the after image, but kind of clips it, but just enough to tell him that it's not the right one.
And then I'm gonna stop you there. Tell me how you kill him after that.
Oh, sweet. So after that, the other two images are kind of stacked up. And Kersk just takes a gamble and swings straight through one of them, and it cuts straight through his chest and lodges into the chest of the real one right behind him. And he kind of sputters a bit of blood before dropping to his knees. And Kersk puts his foot up on his chest and yanks the battle axe out as he kind of just falls over quietly in this silence.
And so as this happens, you pull it out and you watch him fall over. And there might be that briefest moment where either you blinked or you looked over at Fizz and then looked back. But it was only a split second. This man was laying on the ground. And then when you look back, there's that same image of the person laying there that you've been seeing. The person that you saw while you were fighting this man earlier. This flash of image that you have in your mind, and you realize who it is now that you're getting a good look at it. And this is somebody that you work very, very close to. Probably the person that you've never been closer to anybody else besides this person. This is the one person maybe that you've ever trusted that is now dead. And that you killed. And I want you to tell me who this person is. And why you killed them.
Oh, so this is someone from my past that I killed that I cared about.
Yes, this is okay. Somebody that you cared for very much.
Yeah. So after a long time of being essentially a slave on a pirate ship, Kersk eventually was kind of shipwrecked and ended up being the only survivor, and he acquired his powers through a commune with the dark god in a deep cave. And after that there was one other survivor among that who ended up becoming his first mate once he overthrew the pirate that had originally captured them. and they worked together for a number of years, kind of scouring the seas and performing these rituals. But eventually, he had some sort of change of heart as he fell in love with some girl in some village that we were raiding. And of course, we killed her immediately, but he harbored some sort of resentment over it, and eventually tried to inspire a mutiny. And I had to cut him down myself to teach a lesson to the rest of my crew, that even the closest, the only member of my crew that I felt like was a true brother, even he was willing to betray me, and if that was the punishment.
Harsh. Cool. Alrighty. So this is who you see laying there on the ground, seemingly still alive. But you notice some things that, unlike the other figure that had blood all over their face, this figure does not. This figure looks just like you last remember them. The only difference, or the only odd thing about it, is that they have the wound that you inflicted on them to kill. And they're seemingly alive. And they're looking up at you, and their hand just begins to kind of raise, and like they're reaching out to you.
Kersk jumps back and kind of like scrambles to his feet and starts kind of moving like backwards a bit, and his eyes grow very wide as he stares down at this man that he once cared for and then killed.
Fizz, you see, the final blow being dealt to this captain, him go down. Kersk lean over at him, lean over and look at him, and suddenly jump back for no apparent reason. To you, this figure on the ground is exactly as they've always been. They haven't changed at all. This is still the captain.
It's just the images in your head. What's wrong with you? There's nothing. He's dead. You killed him. Good job. Oh, I guess. Is it still silent?
It is.
Okay, so he's
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. It's not. As you would probably notice that just out of instinct, you continue to talk, and then realize that you're probably yelling.
Yeah. Like, oh.
Yeah. It seems to have been that this man was causing the silence.
It's just my eyes playing tricks again.
Of course, I don't see anything.
Describe the men you see there dead.
He looks like the man who was killed. He's an elfin man.
Okay. That's all I needed to hear. Because the body on the ground it looks half orc to me.
Yeah, and the whole time, like he's the image that Kersk is seeing is still this half orc man looking over at him with his hand outstretched.
He's dead to you, right? He's laying there motionless. And Kersk is looking just very, very perturbed and very disturbed by this. Like whatever he's seeing is clearly affecting him.
I'll go ahead and go and like check his pulse just to like assure Kersk.
Yeah, and you walk over to him and feel his pulse, and there's nothing there. Something though that you do tell, his body is cold. There is no warmth to his body at all. If you've had any kind of experience with any medicine or anything like that, there should have been some warmth. If he just died.
He's dead, all right. He's been dead for a while.
I thought there might have been something off with him. Did you see the way his eyes looked? It's like he wasn't It was never looking right at us. It was looking through us from 1,000 miles away.
And as you say that, the image of your dead friend smiles, this creepy smile, which probably disturbs you more than just the fact that you're seeing him. And just like that, it's gone, and you're seeing Fizz leaning over the dead body of Captain Glitch.
And as it changes, Kersk is already midway, like he's started like running and raising his battle axe, and then right as it changes, he kind of like stops himself short and lowers it. Like, we should get away from this thing. If it's been dead for a while, or maybe infested with all kinds of disease.
Agreed. Let's try to hide it somewhere so the other guards don't see.
I'm not sure there's much of a place to hide it. These corridors seem pretty bare.
There's nothing in these corridors. A lot of the ones that y'all had previously gone through had like cells and like smaller rooms in them. This one seems to literally just be a corridor. It's just some kind of hallway. And about the same time, you hear that bang, bang, bang coming from the way that you were originally heading to the left. And it seems closer this time. Now it doesn't seem just like an echo. Now it seems like it's almost right there.
I thought I'd miss that sound.
And if y'all want to try and do something with the body, or if y'all want to go on, it's up to y'all.
Now that it's switched back, Kersk will be a little bit curious again, and he'll kind of look the body over. It's wearing clothes, right? Just try to pat through the pockets, see if it has anything on it that looks like it could be useful.
All right, give me an investigation check.
Ooh, it's a 19 on the die, and I am very unintelligent, so that's an 18.
That's still good. That's still good. I was expecting like that's a -5.
No, I did point by, so I have a couple 8s. He's not very smart or very wise. He's a charge in and rip people's hearts out kind of guy.
Right. Well, hey, yeah, there has to be something there to be some kind of cult leader. But no. So you're patting him down. You're trying to figure it out, and
he's charismatic. He's charismatic, so
that makes sense though. Okay, cool.
He's the face of the organization.
So you're patting him down. He doesn't seem to have any kind of like actual items on him. Very hand-to-hand combat from what you've seen. He didn't use any kind of weapons, and he hasn't carried any belongings. But you do notice that the patch, this symbol of a captain, seems to be removable. It's almost like a band on him that you can remove. It's almost like a bandana, I guess, that he's tied around his arm. And so you are able to take that if you would like.
Yeah, I'll pull that off him, and then I'll yank the dagger out of his leg, kind of flip it around, or actually wipe it off on his clothes, flip it around, and hand it over back to Fizz. And then just kind of pocket the band for now.
All right, and as you kind of go back, to check to see if maybe he has any inner pockets on his torso. And as you're running your hand down his side, you feel something under there, like something that's actually there. And it's larger than what a pocket might be. And so you lift up the shirt that he's wearing to see what it is. And it seems to be this brand, this something that was put there by a hot piece of metal. That is a very familiar symbol to you. And whether it's fearful, intriguing, or whether Kersk just takes this as a fact of wow, we will figure that out after a 5-minute break. So I will see y'all
Nice.
in a thank you, in about 5 minutes. Okay.
I'm back.
Is Austin back?
What if it isn't our esteemed dungeon master?
Yep.
That's
All
a
right.
big mug of beer. That's huge, man. What is that, like 24 ounces or something?
I don't even know. I got it and I was like, oh no, I have to get this.
Magnificent.
It's my gaming cup. All I can think of when I saw it, like the first thing that popped into my head was that scene at the Prancing Pony in Lord of the Rings Fellowship, where Pippin and the other one is like, they sell them in pints. So yeah,
Exactly.
but alrighty. So if y'all are ready, we'll go ahead and get back into it. Alrighty. Okay, so I was about to say I don't know because I can't see Austin. He might have stepped away. So upon looking, Kersk has found this brand on the side of this individual, and it's in the shape of a handprint. And it's about half orc size, but something's a little bit odd about it, because it's not quite the same characteristics. Maybe there's distinct differences. Being a half orc, you kind of tell your own kind. It's kind of like one of us seeing a handprint. Oh, that's a human handprint. It's roughly the same size, different shape, but you immediately recognize it. You've seen this before. You've seen it a couple of times, and it brings one name to mind, and that is Trixar. And you recall that this is the name of your former bodyguard. This is who, and I can't remember his name. This is who Chad's character has replaced. This was your right-hand man, who last thing you saw was dead. This is something he did. Y'all had a nickname for him called the Puppet Master, because he was able to touch somebody and burn this his handprint into them, and then from there be able to control their body.
This is worse than I thought. Fizz, we may be in some real trouble. One of my men, one that I thought was dead, the Puppet Master, he must be responsible for this. See this print here? It's unmistakable.
Yes? You're telling me some crazy man is bringing dead people back to life? What? Why?
I've known him to do a lot worse, but I just don't know why he would be sending them after me. I mean...
Well, why did he imprison you?
Wait, was he the one that imprisoned me?
No, you're not real sure. You were just captured.
Okay.
You were
last I heard, he was dead.
Yeah, you were at your hideout, and it got raided essentially.
Okay.
But this was like a secret hideout. Not many people knew where this was.
Yeah.
But yes, last thing you saw, he had died in a cave-in.
Okay. I never saw the body, but I believed the men who told me he died. I always kind of suspected that someone must have ratted us out. There's no other way anyone would have found that that island that we hid out at. But I never thought it would be Trixar.
And as you're kind of revealing this to Fizz, and as you're kind of reliving this, y'all hear that banging once again, almost like a constant reminder to push forward. And unless you want to do something else.
Yeah, actually, Kersk will do one last thing, and he'll quickly dismiss the battle axe again, warp it into a small and finely honed dagger, kneel down next to the body, and perform that one incision, and attempt to remove this corpse's heart. And once he has it, he basically just says a small prayer over it before cutting a single slice into it, and then like drinking the blood from it. And then he places the heart back in the empty cavity. All right, let's move on.
Gruesome.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you do that? That is a heart. That's a human heart.
Makes you stronger. Besides, the gods demand a sacrifice.
I don't think so. That was gross blood. It was clumpy. It fell into your mouth. Look.
And he smiles, and you can see he's got like a little like kind of rotted clot that's just stuck in his teeth.
Dear God, let's go.
Philip, take a point of inspiration for that reaction.
I love that we have one dude in the party that was so not signed up for this evil, terrible cult that he's escaping with. That's just like, no, I'm just a dude who got thrown in prison. I'm not a monster.
Yes, he's definitely the black sheep of the group, or I guess in this case, white sheep. So at this, y'all press forward, and so it doesn't take long before you hear that banging, but it really sounds like it's right there. And with just a few more steps, this giant iron door that takes up most of the wall. It's like 20 feet long and goes all the way up to the ceiling. It's a huge door. This is a massive door. Is there, and you can immediately tell that every once in a while that banging is coming from the other side of this door.
Okay, I want to look for any like traps, any like signs of wear on this door, any locks, anything. I just want to check it out.
All right, give me an investigation, please.
25.
Yeah, so you're looking around. You don't see any kind of traps, which seems a little unusual, seeing as how after y'all escaped, there were quite a few. But on this floor, this length of corridor that y'all have been traveling down for the past couple hours, doesn't seem to be trapped at all, which is a little bit odd, and especially since this is some kind of doorway here that there's still no traps about it. But something you do see is something you've seen before in this prison, which is this little keypad kind of structure. It's a little box, and it's got 9 symbols on it, and I believe you read Dwarven, correct?
Gnomish, just Gnomish. I just read Gnomish, not Dwarven.
Gnomish, that's what it was. So Gnomish is written in Dwarven.
Yeah.
So you are able to read this. And it's just essentially a number pad. It's like a keypad. And it's almost like runes carved into it like buttons. And you can figure out that with a code, the door will open.
We need a code. Do you know what the code might be? Chris?
Yeah, Kursk walks to the pad and starts to look it over. Does it look like any of these any of these spaces on these ruins look like they're particularly worn, or do they all look about equally pristine?
Give me an investigation.
Ooh, 17.
Yeah, so you're looking at it, and there are 3 numbers that stand out, because there seems to be like maybe there's some kind of substance on them. It's not obscuring them at all, but you kind of notice it. Maybe it's some kind of dust that's only on these 3 digits.
I think it may be these 3, but I don't know the order. What do they say? What are they? They're just numbers.
And Fizz, upon looking at them, to see which ones he's referring to, they are numbers. All 9 of these digits are numbers. It's 1 through 9 with no 0. And the ones that are that have these numbers is 1, 5, and 6.
Yes, it's 1, 5, and 6 that are the worn ones, or the ones that have the gunk on them.
Kursk would start to look around, both sides of the door, see if there's anything like etched on the door or inscribed, or trying to see if there's anything that gives some sort of hint as to what a corresponding code might be.
Yeah, you're looking around, and there doesn't seem to be any. There doesn't seem to be any indication or hint at what maybe the code might be. As you're looking, though, there's another boom. There's another bang from the other side of the door, and there's actually this slight dent that happens in one of the sides of the door, because these doors open outward or apart from each other. And it just, this spot kind of bulges out as this bang happens.
Kursk will change that dagger that he summoned. It begins to grow and expand, and now we go with the Warhammer. Whatever this thing is. And he'll also reach into his pocket on his robe and pull out that captain's insignia, and he'll kind of consider it for a second, and he'll start to attach it to his arm.
All right. As you're doing that, you notice that on the inside pouch of it, or on like the inside of it, there actually is a 3-digit code on
Perfect.
that. And it is in that order 156.
I think I may have found it. He'll communicate what the order is, and then attach it. Should we open this thing? It looks like something's trying pretty hard to get through to this side.
Yes, I think we should. But I would like to take some precautions before we do that. I can turn myself invisible, but I can't turn you invisible.
How tall is this place again? You said like 30 feet?
Yeah, it's 30 feet. The door is about 20 feet wide, and goes all the way up to the ceiling, which is about 30 feet high.
Awesome. All right. Why don't you? How high can I go? Up to 20 feet. Okay, cool. Oh, even that. Yeah, cool. I think I can even go up. If I go to the wall. So, yeah, Kersk backs up to the wall opposite the door. He says, "Ready yourself for invisibility," and he begins to quietly chant again, and he uses his levitation invocation. I think what's it called? I don't know. Ascendant step. To levitate up about 20 feet, and he kind of hovers with his back up against the wall, and he's like almost like lugging the warhammer in one hand. It seems like it's kind of like pulling at him a bit. He looks down at it for a second, like, and changes it over to a quarterstaff. Like now that he's up in the air, and then he kind of just aims the quarterstaff down at the door. Ready when you are.
Right. And I'm going to cast invisibility on myself and punch in the code.
All right, so y'all get ready, and you punch in the code. And this door, very silently, surprisingly, starts to, and once it's only about 4 or 5 feet apart from each other, this mechanical shape begins to like lunge out, like trying to get out. And Fizz, you realize who it is. And I think it's maybe like a spider. What is you described to me your construct?
Yeah, so basically it's this giant mechanical spider. Oh man, I have a picture saved, but maybe I'll find it and screen share a little later. But yeah, basically it's just whizzing about, and it probably has taken some damage from beating itself against that door for so long, but I see it. I'm going to go ahead and undo my invisibility and just run up to it. Scuttle!
Yeah, upon seeing it, you do realize that it does seem to be like not in pristine condition. And as you go for it, I don't know how the mechanics for constructs work. I've never played or played with an artificer, so this secondary mechanical object comes out from between this door, actually breaking it open a little bit, pushing it outward, and it's this mechanical hand, and it's lunging for the spider. Does the spider do dex saves and stuff? I'm not sure. If it does, go ahead and give me a dex save for it.
Okay, yeah, just a second. So basically it's treated exactly the same as a spider, kind of reskinning it. So let me look at that. Yeah, okay, so do you want me to roll a dex save for it?
Yes, please.
5.
Yeah, so it's just not quick enough. It probably was distracted by you, and as you're running up to it, probably trying to give it a hug. It probably did some kind of weird stand on its back legs and like hold its arms out to you. And this hand comes out and just like grabs it. And I like everybody to roll initiative. Fizz actually got a nat 1.
So also, I think my spider just moves on my turn, but he counts as like a completely separate target and everything.
Okay, cool.
His AC is 14.
All right. So this hand launches out and grabs it. This your spider, and pulls it back into the doorway, out of view from y'all. Unfortunately, the doors, because of this hand launching through it and pushing them out slightly, will not close or open anymore. They're kind of bent off the so-called tracks. And that's going to be its turn, is pulling the spider in. So Kersk, how would you like to act seeing this happen?
Can I see that whatever is reaching for the spider through the door?
If you were to actually like look into the door, yes.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just gonna like try to find whatever is trying to grab this spider, see if I can see it and make like line of sight with it. I'm gonna try to fire an Eldritch Blast since I'm kind of hovering up against the opposite wall, looking through the crack of this door.
All right. Yeah. So when you look in, you see this large mechanical iron figure that's essentially kneeling in this room. And it's got the spider gripped. It looks like it's taken some damage. And you kind of put two and two together that the spider was fighting this thing while trapped in here. And yeah, so it's not looking good for the spider at this point. And if you'd like to go ahead and make some attack on it, go for it.
Yeah. So immediately then, seeing this Kersk, just says a very quick word and fires these two in rapid succession balls of kind of tentacled shadowy energy directly at this thing. For, let's see, that's going to be a 19 to hit and a 15 to hit.
The 19 hits, the 15 does not.
Okay, and that is going to be 6 points of damage.
I did forget to tell you, though, we'll consider both of those for the first roll. You're going to be attacking with advantage because it does not know you're there.
Okay.
So just roll 2 more for that second attack.
All right. Well, with a 21 hit, yeah, the 19 did, so cool. So that's 8 damage for the second one. So both of these things fly straight through this 4-foot crack in the door and slam into this mechanical beast.
Yeah, and it as they hit, some chunks of the metal that is this thing's body start to fall off, and it turns its giant iron head over at you, just and its eyes are lit up red, and it now is aware of you. Fizz, it is your turn.
Okay, well, I'm going to... Can I go with my spider first? Okay, so basically carried back by this mechanical creature.
Say that one more time for me.
And he's basically being, like, carried back through the door by this mechanical creature?
Yes.
Okay, so the spider's going to just turn around and try and bite this guy. 11.
Unfortunately, that does not hit.
He's just going to be like, kind of clamoring all over him. And I want to go and run like up my spider as I imagine it like turned around and tried to like attack this mechanical creature. I want to run up on its back and like try to stab it.
All right. And you can also roll with advantage because he does not know that you were there.
Cool. 16.
That is just enough to hit.
Nice. And I deal 3 damage as I try to wedge the dagger in between one of its like kind of mechanical plates. Just prying it loose, trying to jam it in there and get anything I can.
Yeah, so you get it in between there. You maybe cut a couple of cords, and maybe there's some kind of like hydraulic fluid kind of leaking out. And this thing releases the grip that it has on the spider. So it kind of, I imagine, kind of clambers away just a little bit to get it out of the reach. And it, you would see it kind of, these gears start to turn on its jaws, and its mouth starts to drop open, and there's these gears that start turning and these pumps that start going through its chest, and it cocks its head back and then leans forward, and as it does, this purplish gas starts to come out of its mouth and just ink its way over and spread out the door. I need both of you to make Constitution saving throws. Unless for some reason you're immune to poison. All right, Fizz, you make it. Kersk does not. This will not be fun.
Bad time to be 20 feet up in the air.
Yeah. Kersk, you are taking 43 points of poison damage. Yeah, I told you that was going to be bad.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Fizz, you're only going to take half. 43, so that's 21 points of poison damage for you.
And I have to make another con check to see if I'm able to maintain my levitation, right?
If it's concentration, yes.
It is. Oh, thank goodness. That one's a 19. So. Whew.
Well, I have to. Oh, never mind. I'm okay.
And with that, it is. I believe it was Kersk. Yes, Kersk, it is your turn.
Okay. Well, yeah, so in a bit of a spot here. So I will do 2 things with dropping or tossing something is a free action, right? Like I just kind of want to like drop my my quarterstaff down to Fizz and maybe just quickly telepathically just let him know that it's coming. So he has something a little bit heftier to hit this thing with since he's right up front. And then using just a hand, I'll fire 2 more of these Eldritch Blasts at this creature, hoping to be able to kill it before it poisons me more. Jeez. Oof. 14 and 17.
17 will hit, 14 will not.
Cool. Nice. 12 points.
Alrighty. Would you like to make any kind of movement, or are you just going to stay where you are?
Actually, I'll push myself up just a little bit on the wall to try to kind of, in case, hopefully, if he's not looking directly at me, just to kind of confuse him a little bit. Buy myself a little time.
Gotcha. Fizz, it is you and Mr. Spider's turn.
Okay, so I want to hit this guy with the quarterstaff that I just got, and then kind of like back away from him and have the spider basically, like command the spider.
Last thing I heard was command the spider, and then it cut out.
Oh yeah, command the spider to back away, like while I'm riding him.
Oh, okay,
like,
cool. Right on.
Get back there. Yeah. First, I'll roll to attack. 14.
What was it, 14?
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, 14. You're looking for 16.
Okay, so I swipe at him with this quarterstaff, and I miss, and then I tell the spider to back away while I'm riding him.
And are you backing, I guess, essentially backing up enough to provoke an attack of opportunity, or are you just, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am going to have him take that, but he's going to do it disadvantage because his arm is very limited movement where it's at.
Okay.
I believe that's still going to hit. That's a 12 on the die.
Yeah.
So you're going to take 15 points of bludgeoning damage as this arm kind of just swats at you. And
then I was going to see if I could have my web at this guy.
Yeah.
As we ran him. Yeah. After we're like, 20 feet, 30 feet away.
Okay. Right on. I know I've seen the web spell before, but I don't know I think it's a save.
It's so yeah, +5 to hit and it's DC 12 strength check.
Oh, okay. So it's not like a dodge or anything. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I have to roll to successfully hit it, and so I got an 18.
All right, yeah, that'll lock him down.
Cool.
And does he make that strength save on his turn, or does he make it immediately?
It says, as an action, the restrained target can make a DC 12 strength check, bursting the webbing on a success.
Right.
The webbing can also be attacked and destroyed. AC 10, HP 5, vulnerability to fire, immunity to bludgeoning, poison, and psychic.
Okay, right on. And if that ends your turn, it is now the giant construct's turn. He is going to take his turn to try and rip this webbing off. Yeah, that's the 18 on the die. So he's able to rip it off. So he just kind of is like lifting his arm up, and one by one these threads are popping. And then that's his turn. It is now Kersk. It is now your turn.
Seeing that his strategy has been fairly effective, Kersk will continue with his back up against this wall, near the ceiling, firing down through the crack with his eldritch blasts, firing these shadowy wreaths of energy, and that's going to be a 21 on the first one, and a 21 on the second.
Nice.
I like this guy. Okay, so that's not as good. That's 5 damage and 9 damage. So 14 overall. So after blasting him with these two things, Kersk will actually start to I don't think it's an action. I think it's just my movement to use to levitate a bit back down. I'm kind of lower myself back down to about 10 feet up.
Okay, cool.
Because he's feeling a little bit beaten around, so he doesn't want to be too high up in case anything happens.
And Fizz, it is now your turn. You and Mr. Spider.
Sorry, I'm looking at the spell here. Okay, well, I guess I am just going to cast Cure Wounds on myself. Cast Cure Wounds and 5 hit points.
Woo.
And I will hop off the spider and have him go back and try to lunge at and attack the mechanical construct again. And that's no successful hit.
Alrighty.
One more thing. Can Fizz move over to keypad?
Yeah.
Okay. And
it's, let's see. Yeah, you'll be able to. And I think you're still within range, so you wouldn't provoke an opportunity attack.
Okay, cool. So I'll move over to the keypad, but I think that's all I can probably do this turn.
Yeah, we'll say that you can just get there. Next turn, if you want to do something with it, you can. And with that, it is now the big bad guy's turn. And he's going to try and take a swat at the spider, since it's right there trying to bite at his hand. I doubt that's going to hit. It's a 9. No? Cool. At least for you. So yeah, he tries to slam his hand onto the ground, and the spider just jumps back real quick. And it is Kersk. It is now your turn.
Kersk actually gently lowers himself to the ground, keeping the spell active in the back of his mind, but not currently levitating. And he actually takes a few steps forward, holding both hands out, and fires another 2 more of these eldritch blasts. And he's trying to kind of draw this thing's attention away from the spider and from Fizz and whatever they're doing. So he's kind of he might even be kind of ah, as he's doing it, just making a lot of noise and trying to scare this thing. So that's a 17 with one and nat 20 with the other. Oh, that's a good feat.
Yeah, both will hit.
All right,
Definitely.
so the first one is for 10 damage, and then the second one, how do you do your crits?
You roll damage, apply the modifier, and then double it.
Perfect. So that's 14. 24 overall on that one.
Oh, okay. I was about to say 14. Dang, you could have been so much better.
Yeah, I rolled a 4, and I have a +3 because of Agonizing Blast.
And roll me a luck die. So a D8.
2.
2. Yeah, unfortunately, like you put enough oomph into it where you were sure it was going to cleave its arm like right off. Just these two massive blasts of energy. But this thing is a little bit more fortified than you originally thought. So it definitely did damage, but its arm is definitely still attached. That would have been cool though if you could chop off his arm with him. And then it is going to be Fizz and the spider's turn.
Okay, so I'm going to like whistle at the spider. And so explain to me where the construct is right now.
The construct is inside of this, we'll call it the vault.
Okay.
And most of its arm is like out in this hallway, and is trying to swat at y'all through this hallway, or through this crack in the door that it's punched its way through.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I will like whistle to my spider to like get on this side of the door. And I want to try and put in the sequence and close the door.
All right, you do so. The door tries to start closing, but because of the way he punched the door, they're kind of off this track and they're bent. So they're kind of closing, but there's not like a whole lot of force or anything behind them, at least not anymore. But it does seem to kind of restrict the movement to the arm.
Okay, cool.
Would you like to move, or do you want to stay there?
I will yell to Kersk, we need to get out of here. Let's go.
And you can see that he's standing in the middle of this hallway now with both hands just outraised, and he's got a bit of a bloody smile on his face. And he says, "I'm not leaving until this thing is dead." And if it's is it whose turn is it?
It's technically it's still Fizz's turn, as long as unless he wants or doesn't want to move. So yeah,
I'm going to hold off on moving unless Kersk moves. Can I hold my action to wait to move until Kersk moves?
Yeah, I'll say yeah.
Cool.
Then it would be the giant construct's turn. Why? What's up? You were asking, Austin?
Nope.
Oh, okay, I thought you were wondering. Okay, so the giant construct is at this point just like flailing wildly. So like I'm gonna give him like super disadvantage. So rolling 3 die. Yeah, he doesn't hit anybody with a nat 1. So I'm gonna give you both if you'd like to take attacks of opportunity.
Yes. 14.
Unfortunately, that misses.
It's just a fist anyway, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I just had to run up and try to punch him because.
Yeah, and it won't be me that's attacking, but my spider, and my spider misses too.
Alrighty. Yeah, and with that, it's going to be Kursk. It's going to be your turn. And you, because of the way these doors are, you're going to have like advantage because he doesn't have any kind of movement.
Awesome.
So you'll have advantage on these attacks.
Yeah, and then I'll just continue with the Eldritch Blast. They seem to be very effective. 19 on the die, so that first one I'm not gonna have to roll twice. And the second one, the 19 modified, so didn't have to roll twice with either. Oh, I guess I should either way, just in case I get a 20. 19 and 2. So, all right. 10 points of damage with one, and 6 points with the other. Jeez, let's see. I've done 24 damage, 16, 4. No, 13, part of 24. Wow, this thing's healthy.
And it's going to be
Just
Fizz.
the arm, man.
Yeah. It's going to be Fizz's turn.
So Fizz is basically like coughing. Keep striking at it, hoping that his spider gets it one of these times. Oh, nat 20! Okay, so that is that's 14 piercing damage, and then the target must make a DC 11 Constitution saving throw. Did you?
Is it for poison?
It is for poison, actually. So, sorry, yeah, you're immune to that.
Unfortunately, he is immune.
So you see, like, these mechanical fangs just kind of like sparks flying as they penetrate into this mechanical structure, and then you hear kind of like a glug glug as two vials that are inside the mechanical spider just kind of like poison, but it just falls harmlessly onto the automaton's gears.
All right, yeah. With that, let's see. I'm gonna say curse because you, well, no, because you ended up using your Eldritch Blast. Are any of you, or either of you, I guess I should say, or either of you, where you would be able to see through this crack in the doorway to be able to see the actual iron giant?
Yeah. I'm standing like maybe 5 or 8 feet away from it. Like,
okay.
Looking right at it.
So you'd be able to see that once again, the gears on its jaw are starting to turn, the gears on its chest are starting to turn, and the hydraulics are starting to go, and you realize that it's about to release another one of these poison clouds. I'm going to go ahead and give you both another opportunity to kill this thing. If you can't, it's releasing the poison gas. So going in initiative order, Kersk, is your turn.
Seeing this thing start to like wind up again for another one of these releases. Okay, I have a meta question, but I think it's information that my character would know. I mean, at level 10, would I know if okay? First of all, would I have ever fought mechanical beings before? And would I know if necrotic damage would injure them?
I would honestly leave that up to you. Do you think that your character has ever?
I think he
machinery?
probably hasn't fought any constructs before or really encountered many. But I'm just not sure if he would be aware of whether or not. Like, is there some sort of check I could make for that?
Yeah, give me Arcana.
Okay. Oh no, he doesn't. He has no idea. So he's going to go ahead and try it. He's just going to hold out his hand, and he speaks in this deep guttural language. And this might be a little strange sounding to Fizz, who's never actually heard him speak like this, because it almost doesn't sound like his own voice as he starts kind of chanting this deep speech. And right where the let me make sure I'm doing this right. I think it's right where the thing is standing. Sorry, I'll make sure. There we go. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so Kersk basically walks up right next to the thing as he does this, as he's chanting in this deep guttural speech, and this dark swirling kind of shadow that's been surrounding him in his mage armor starts to pulse, and it starts to kind of burst out further, and these little tiny ends of tentacles start to kind of poke out as he chants. And as he gets right up next to this thing, he kind of throws his shoulder into it, and right as he does, these tentacles and shadow just burst forth from him as he casts Arms of Hadar. And so it's a dex save, and on a failed save, he takes 2d6 necrotic damage and can't take reactions until its next turn. On a successful save, it takes half damage but suffers no other effect.
Well, it's a 3 on the die, and so it's a 2.
Okay, so that's gonna be a failure. I'm pretty sure. I think it's a charisma for me, and that's a 8 plus 3 plus 4. Yeah, so 15 was the save I think to make. Am I bad at math? Yeah, I am. But yeah, 15. So okay, so wait, I have to roll d6s. Shoot, where'd my d6 go? Okay. So let's see if that's because it's third level slot. It's gonna be 4d6. Ooh, 6. 3, 9. Hey, another 6. 15. 19. 19 points of necrotic damage, and he can't take reactions until the end of his next turn.
Right on. Somehow, I don't know how, but this thing is not immune or resistant to necrotic damage.
Yay! The metal starts to rust as these tentacles are slapping at it and grabbing at it and pulling at these different like loose pieces. And kind of screws are popping out, and you can see like they kind of like even one or two of them might even kind of rust to ash or crumble. Yeah, it worked. Yeah, I'm happy about that.
It did more than work because you killed it.
Yes.
Do you want to stick with that description? You want to add to it?
Yeah, I like that. So yeah, as these tentacles just start to actually like really like reach in further and further, and just start to like rust the joints of this thing, and as it starts trying to like wind up for another swing, it starts to creak and rust, and then like the elbow starts to lock in place, and then these springs and bolts start flying out of the side of it. And the arm just falls off, and the whole thing starts to just collapse and crumble into these different pieces.
Right on. So yeah, so this thing just completely just begins to fall apart. And that is the end of that combat. And we're going to go ahead and stop there for the night. Stop for the session. Yeah. So cool.
Right on. That was super fun.
I'm glad you liked it.
Thank you for helping me get my Scuttle back. Oh, Scuttle.
Alrighty. So we're going to go through real quick I'll let each of y'all, I guess technically reintroduce your characters, just to reaffirm who you're playing. Because like I personally forgot a couple of things, and then talking to y'all, I remembered some of them. So yeah, Austin, if you wanted to tell us who you're playing.
Yeah, so it was Kersk, the sailor, half-orc warlock, cult leader, and heart eater, and generally bad fella. Just not a good dude, but a lot of fun to play.
And Philip, how about you?
Yeah, I am playing Cyril, aka Fizz. He is a rock gnome, criminal demolition expert, artificer. He specializes in making mechanical constructs that drop payloads and then scurry on out of there, and he does not like to get his hands dirty. He is above that and doesn't really care about killing people, but is totally turned off by the whole heart blood drinking thing. Yeah, just want to say thanks, Jimmy. This has been great. It's been fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad that y'all are enjoying it. I would have liked to get to Fizz's character's background a little bit more. It's just a lot easier with Kersk. His little episodes, seeing some of the people he's killed. Hopefully, next time we play, we'll be able to dive a little bit deeper with Fizz. But yeah, so thanks everybody for watching. We're gonna go ahead and sign out of here. Hope to see you next time. The next session I'll be running is actually going to be with the other group, the other two members of this party, who are somewhere else in the prison. And maybe sometime this week, not real sure. Kind of depends on what's going on with them in their personal lives. You know, always got to get in the way. But yeah, can't wait to play with these guys again. And may you always be enlightened.